Hi, good morning. I want to thank County Executive Steve Ballone for his leadership and the Long Island Community Foundation, particularly David O'Corn and Sol Marie Jones for their leadership and support in ensuring that we have an accurate count in 2020. I also want to commend our governor. Governor Cuomo made a very good decision in putting the county executive on the Census Commission. County Executive Steve Ballone is a fierce advocate for Suffolk County, and I know he will work closely with the governor to ensure that the state gets the resources that it needs, and particularly that Suffolk County gets the resources it needs to ensure an accurate count. The Health and Welfare Council of Long Island is an umbrella organization. We work with hundreds of nonprofits across the region, and we are very excited to be partnering with the county executive to build a powerful platform to make sure that every Suffolk County resident is counted. So we just started 2019, and yet we're here today talking about 2020. Why? The census is critically important to the future of Suffolk County, and as my colleagues have stated, it's right around the corner. A census undercount could cause the loss of congressional and state legislative representation. There are political and governmental impacts. Census data is used to identify community needs, to determine funding for things like school lunch programs, highway programs, Medicaid, special education, grants for schools, children's health insurance, and so much more. Why? Because federal program dollars get allocated based on population numbers and other census measures. So there are community, health, and human service impacts as well. If you live in a community with little local business or empty storefronts, businesses and industry decide where to locate based on census data, meaning that the economic growth of your town is impacted by the snapshot that is the 2020 census. Trade associations, chambers of commerce, and businesses rely on this information for economic development, business decisions, and strategic planning. Local governments also use the demographic and business data to prepare proposals for competitive federal and state grant programs and to shape tax policy. So there are significant economic impacts as well associated with an undercount. And this census 2020, it's like none other. This year, the internet is going to be the primary way for households to respond to the 2020 census. Some may choose not to complete the forms for fear about data protection, difficulty using a computer, or lack of access to technology. And there will be paper forms available, but the primary way that the census is going to be rolled out is through the internet. And being left out of the census can deprive these groups and their communities of vital public and private resources. But there is a greater concern that I have that must be planned for as we work together to build an effective implementation plan for outreach. Long Island in 2020 is not the Long Island of 2010. Demographic shifts have been significant. And here in Suffolk County, we have been targeted by Washington, D.C. There has been a very intentional effort to use anti-immigrant rhetoric to create fear. And it is exactly that fear that could lead to an undercount. If our communities are afraid to be counted for fear of deportation or fear that someone in the family could face scrutiny, then that fear will impact behavior in a way that could have political, social, and economic consequences. An undercount on Long Island could be devastating. We in the nonprofit sector and our government partners, our faith-based and business partners, we have our work cut out for us to make sure that we are spreading messages of trust, because it is being counted that leads to funding for programs that support all members of the community, that support our schools, our main streets, and things that Long Islanders hold so dear. So today, I call on every Suffolk County resident to consider themselves a messenger, a census liaison, if you will. Just as many of you know the importance of voting and bringing 5 or 10 friends to the poll, we need every Suffolk County resident to tell their neighbors, their friends, the person in the deli, the person who assists you at the bank, everyone you encounter, that their participation in Census 2020 is needed, that it makes a difference, and quite frankly, that the future of Suffolk County depends on it. Thank you.